Good morning, everyone. My name is Don Daniel, founder of Pill Method International. And today we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and if you're listening, you're on Clubhouse. So let me go ahead and get rid of this today. So we're getting ready for our conference, Pillars of Prosperity, coming up in January. We're going to be live all day in Orlando, and we're going to be giving away, we're going to do some giveaways today. All right. So, and the giveaways have to do with our early bird ticket. Our early bird ticket, let me put that back on the screen. Our early bird ticket is $175. That's the early bird ticket. All right. But today, we're going to be doing a giveaway. And this is crazy. Now, my consultation, my initial consultation is $150. And my book is $49.95 on Amazon. If you sign up for early bird ticket today, you can get my consultation and my book for free. Oh, come on up, sweet. All right. That's what we're doing today, folks. So if you want to get the early bird ticket, all right, get the early bird ticket. We're going to give you a consultation and my book of $50 value for free. That's $200 value for buying an early bird ticket for $175. We're going to be putting up the link to that in just a second. So let's go ahead and start the show. All right, we've got, okay, something happened to our theme music here, but let me try that again. And here it is. There we have it. All right. My name is Don Daniel, founder of Pill Method International. We are the better way to handle debt. Listen, I want to share with you today something that a lot of people don't know. The way lending is being done today is tantamount to financial violence. People are unaware of how it's really supposed to work. The whole purpose of the PILL method, prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage and liquidity, is to teach you how lending actually works so that you can borrow money at a discount. I don't believe cash is king. I believe a wise use of somebody else's money is the way to go. But we have not been taught how an amortization schedule actually works. You know that thing that bankers use to figure out how much we should pay, the amount of interest and the amount of principal we should pay on each payment? Did you realize that the way it is constructed, they're making 75% more money than they need to make? If you understand how all of this works, you can pay off all of your debt in 7 to 9 years. What's going on, sweet?
Hey man, good morning, bro. Excited to be here.
Listen, man, do you have what do you have for us this morning?
Oh man, shoot, I'm actually dealing with on the. I love what you're saying because ever since I've heard you probably some years ago in here, oh man, you just add to the wealth of understanding like you're saying right now, it's so true. We're just not taught these things about the amortization schedule and like you said, this compounding of it. Oh my God, I ended up paying $600,000 for a $300,000 home and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But I say good, and you know what I mean good. But the point is, I just recently got involved with the commercial lending side. You
Okay.
know, and so a whole bunch of different bankers affiliated with that are off the, you know, they're not the Bank of America, Wells Fargo's, but you know, but nonetheless, they're out there with money and they're looking to lend it. But it comes down to paying stuff back in 18 months and whatnot. And you know,
Mm-hmm.
situation gap loans, getting through different situations, all kind of stuff for businesses, mostly restaurants. But the point is, well, every bit of what you're saying applies over there as well. Even, you know, percent ended up being 48% over a 2-year period.
Well, listen, today we're going to be talking about people who are using commercial loans. We're going to be talking about people who are real estate investors. We're going to be talking about people who invest in restaurants. We're going to be talking about people who borrow money to invest in money-making ventures. And we're going to show them how to increase profits by lowering the cost of borrowing money. You lend it, okay? You'll get paid, but you'll be able to show your clients how they can pay it back at a discount. Now, why doesn't that bother you if your clients pay back that money faster and cheaper? That doesn't bother you, does it?
Not at all.
Why is that?
There's so much more money to be lent out and so much more to do that, man, please, it's money makes everything happen. Without the resources and the buildings and the cars and the employees and all that stuff costs. So
Right.
it costs doing business. So you gotta take money to make money for real.
So if your client pays back their loan faster and cheaper, does that affect your income?
Not at all. I already got my commission and I'm gone.
You got your commission up front. So if you can help your clients get the money, okay, because that's the hard part, getting the money, but you can help them to get it. All right. And now if you can show them how to save additional money by borrowing that money even cheaper, not controlling the interest rate, but controlling the cost of borrowing money, you can show them something different by directing them over to the P.I.L.L. method, and they can pay off that loan not in 20 years, not in 15 years, maybe even 7 or 5 years, pay it back. Okay. And then when they want to do something else, who are they going to come to?
Me. But you know what's so amazing is in the commercial space, it's so needed that you're talking about because the the residential side and people, homes, but it applies anywhere where people are. I call it people buy money. They don't borrow money. You're buying money.
Yes.
It's just a matter of how much are you paying for it.
Exactly. And even when you were in whatever course you took, however you received that information, okay, I can almost guarantee you it was, here's what was not covered. How the process works, how the lending process works, how the banks make their money through interest. That wasn't covered. And it was not covered how a person who's borrowing money can pay a lot less interest cost. That wasn't covered, was it?
No, you got something you got to piece together. If they don't know you're gonna live a long time trying to really understand what's in it for the banks and how are they making their money because they're not doing it on some philanthropic. Let's just help out the world.
Okay. Listen, I seem to be in the audience, and I don't know why she's in the audience. Okay. She she needs to come up on stage. Folks, we're going to be talking about some things today that most people are unaware of how to take advantage of opportunities, how to borrow money for real estate, for real estate investors, how to borrow it cheaper. And if you are using credit cards incorrectly, we're going to talk about it today, how to use them correctly and how to understand them. If you are not using your credit cards, you need to start using credit cards. I don't care what the Dave Ramsey say. I don't care what the Susie Orman say. We need to get paid for using credit cards today. And people who have resources, they should be borrowing money. People who don't have resources need to be borrowing money. All right.
You know what I was just hearing the other day, John?
Go ahead.
For dialogue purposes, for the audience and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Those that when you don't need money, that's the best time to qualify for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you need to go ahead and have another $500,000. You know, you need to have another million. You need to have. I see Cindy in the audience, and
I see Cindy.
Cindy, you need to hit me up because I got some stuff going on in Illinois right now, and I'd love to introduce it to you and let you see. We can do some things, but the point is, yeah, it's that's the time to qualify. You know, those that got it going on pretty good, they're trying to expand.
Right.
They're trying to do more. They want to get the building next door. They want to get another franchise. They got 10 already. They need more access to more money to put that in place. But the point is, and they're not scared of it because they got a cash flow coming in already. What they're doing is working, but they're not complacent. They understand they want to do more, just in the human spirit. But so anyways, having access to it, because then you only the situations I'm talking about, you're only going to utilize a percentage of it for a very specific reason, and you're going to go ahead and pay that off, and now you still got that 500,000 available. You might use 100,000, you might use 10,000, might use 5,000. I don't know, but you just need to do something real quick, and it's going to help you. And that's where the lenders that I'm dealing with, they understand that. They know the industry. It's well known all across America that industries require this. If you're doing, if you had a restaurant, there's certain things you need, and they know that. If you don't have that stuff in place, they're not lending you no money.
All right. Well,
they're
listen.
Smart. Go ahead.
So listen, let's dive right into this. Okay. Let's start here, and then we'll do credit cards later on in the show. We're going to start with lending to investors, lending to people who are in some sort of commercial enterprise, and show you how you can borrow money at 1% or less. I don't care what the interest rate is. Okay. What does that mean? So how can you borrow money at 1% when the interest rate could be 7, 8, or 9? I'm going to show you that today. If you are interested in how to borrow money at about 1% or less, even though the interest rate you're getting from the lender is a lot higher, I need to see some number 9s in the chat to let me know that you're listening. So if you are online, all right, if you're online, or if you're in Clubhouse here, I need you to put a number 9 in the chat or in the comment section to let me know that you want to see how that is even possible. And please come to the stage and ask your questions. Raise your hand right now. Come up to the stage so that we can get your questions, or put your questions in the chat. So let me start with putting this on the screen. Okay, there we go. Let's put this on the screen. All right, there it is. And we're going to change this over. And let's see here. There we have it. There we go. All right. So this, sweet, this is, I've got a commercial lender, borrower here. It's got 2 commercial buildings. All right. Now, they've got $2 million in loans. Let me ask you something. Can you lend up to or more than $2 million?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you lend out? Can you help people borrow 100,000?
No doubt about it.
So anywhere in between, you can help them.
Absolutely.
Okay. So tell me. So let me talk to you about this. Here, I've got 2 loans here. Okay, and they break down to, one loan is 1,389,000. The other loan is 846,000. One loan is at 5%. The other loan is 3.25%. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they both add up to $2,236,000. All right. Mm-hmm. If you all want to see this, go to the link in the chat or at the top of the page, and you'll be able to see this on YouTube right now. If you go into YouTube, please click on subscribe and click on that notification bell so that you will know whenever we are on, so that you be able to, so that you'll be able to get this information. All right. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to go over just the highlights first, and then we're going to dig deeper into why people don't know this and how the banks benefit from us not knowing. All right. So he is $2,236,376. All right. Here's how much interest the banks want on that money, even though one is at 5% and the other one is at 3.25%. Here's how much money the banks want them to pay: $1,123,195. That's a lot of interest. Okay. Now, why this particular investor did not care about paying all of this interest? Why didn't they care? Here's why. Now, you tell me, sweet. If they have this money, the payments on these loans come to $14,696. All right. But the rents he's taking in on these two commercial office buildings, even when taking into account the fact that they aren't fully occupied all the time, because you have to do those numbers, right? So you're not going to be fully occupied, 100% occupancy 100% of the time. So he says even with a occupancy rate of less than 100%, he's still averaging $57,800 a month coming in. Talk to me, sweet. If you've got $57,800 coming in, do you care that your payments on the loan are $14,696?
They could care less. And the lenders I deal with, they recognize that. They want to see that cash flow. All I need to see is 17,000 a month. They want to see return 2023. And they know exactly, like you said, if it's apartment buildings, if it's whatever it is, they know how to read into all of that. They have experience for 25 years. So they know absolutely how much do you need, because, and they deal, just so you know, on my side.
Yeah, go ahead.
At the banks and everything, it's like you said, they want a 30-year, mortgage and all this kind of stuff. But I'm talking about like 18 months, 3 years, 2 years, that basically people, because these are people that want to use that money, have access to it, not even using the full amount, but they have access to this money and they're content with, paying this thing off. And so those that are wise, they're trying to pay that thing. Like this P.I.L.L. that's up to listening in this morning, that P.I.L.L. method, get that sucker up off of you ASAP, because you're paying that interest. But go ahead. I want to learn this morning, because I know you got so much insight in it. Definitely.
So do you do DSCR loans?
Yes.
Okay. So that is a debt service coverage ratio loan. Can you tell us what that means? Debt service coverage ratio loan.
Now you're trying to take me outside of my specialty. I'm good at just pointing people to those that know all this. But
okay,
I'm getting some insight.
All right. Well, let's talk about that. A debt service coverage ratio loan is a loan. So when you're trying to borrow money from the lenders that he's talking about, all they want to see is the rents that you're bringing in. Does it cover the payments? They're not looking at anything else, are they?
No, that's it.
They're looking.
You got cash flow coming in. That's all they're concerned with.
If the cash flow coming in, if you've got more coming in than the payments on the loan, then most likely you'll get the loan if you have your down payment intact. You still have to have a down payment. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, yeah. But in my situation, no. But it's I have a very unique situation, but off the board generally, yeah. But the bottom line is, yeah, if you get with the right kind of lenders,
yeah,
they are not they're vested, so they're gonna have their neck on the line if you default. So they're gonna be very careful about making sure that they see the cash flow, which is good, but they also know if you are going to put this towards more employees, you are going to fix that building in the back, and it's going to bring more income to you.
Yeah,
they'll give you money all day long.
All right. So here's
want you to win.
All right, they want you to win. So now this particular investor says, I'm borrowing 2.2 million. I'm bringing in over $57,800 a month. My payments are $14,696 a month. So the lenders are happy and the investor is happy because they have a cash flow of over $43,000 a month. That is a huge cash flow. $43,000 a month. That is excellent. So here is what this guy was. He says, now, if the bank wants to charge me $1,123,195 in interest to do this, why should I care? Because when they go to meet with other investors, when they go to their meetups, when they go to their meetings and they meet with other real estate investors, that's exactly what they're hearing. What they're hearing is this: if you're making this kind of cash flow, why should you ever see about prepaying the loan? Why should you prepay the loan? Okay. Why should you take money to prepay a loan that is 6%, 5%, 3%? Why should you take money to prepay that loan when you can take your cash and invest it elsewhere and make 10, 20, 25% cash on cash return on investing your money? Why should you ever prepay the loan? I'm going to tell you why. Because he can still make that kind of money. He can still cash flow serious money and cut the interest cost of $1,123,000 by a ton. So if you're cash flowing a ton, and I don't need to touch the money that you need to invest in other ventures, in other properties, I don't need to touch that money. Continue to invest. How is it that you can continue to invest and pay less interest? Let's talk about it today. So here's what we're talking about. He's supposed to pay over $1 million in interest. I'm going to show him how to pay $231,000 in interest instead. Did you realize that's a 79% interest reduction? That's a 79% discount. Borrowing money at a 79% discount. We're not refinancing the loan. We're not redoing the loans at all. We're not changing banks. We're not changing the loans whatsoever. All we're doing is paying less interest. Let me show you what's going on here. That's saving him $891,000 in interest. If you can save $891,000 in interest, listen, he was willing to pay the $891,000 in interest. Why? Because he's cash flowing so well on the property. But if he can save $891,000 in interest, what could he do with that money that he did not give to the bank? Sweet. What could he do with that money he didn't have to give to the bank?
Oh, it's all about making more money with it, investing it in. That's the whole point about those lenders that are good lenders and have the right spirit. They'll deny you because they recognize you're not able to. But the ones that I'm talking about, they would recognize and almost guide you to say, look, if you really go do this and do this, we know it's going to make you money. If you don't have that guidance already, but and they know that you want to get rid of that cost of money. You want to buy the money for less money is what it comes down to.
Okay.
Because you're talking about saving $800,000 in this scenario and all these kind of things. So yeah, hurry up and go into it knowing what you want to do to make this money and have it make money and then get and get, pay that money back and have access to that loan again.
Let's talk about it. So here's what he's doing here. If he doesn't have to pay that $891,000, we're showing him how to forecast what that savings could do for him over the next 17 years. That money he didn't have to pay the bank can make him over $9 million. $9 million. And that, my friends, is at I need you to see this. I need you to see this. We need to zoom in on this part right here. $9,314,909. This is your savings at a 1% return on your money. Now, he's averaging a lot more than 1%. But even at 1%, the money he's not giving in the bank over 17 years can make him an additional $9 million. How much money could he make if he's averaging 10, 12, 15%? Oh my goodness. That's what we're talking about here, folks. The bank, if you don't understand what they're doing, they're going to take way more money from you than you need to pay. Let me show you one of the loans that we're dealing with here, okay? Let me pull up an amortization schedule, okay? And we're going to take a look at one of these loans. So we're going to put that in there, and we're going to take a look at, I'm going to get my notes here and take a look at the loans. Now, if you guys want to see this, please go to YouTube, and so you can, so that you can see this. All right. All right. So we're going to put in a payment. Here's a payment of $8,704. Interest rate is 5% for 300 months. And the original amount on this loan is $1,488,906.65. Okay, $1,488,000. Now let me go back, and I'm going to show you why he didn't care. So this is what he told me on this loan. He says, Don, on one of these loans, so on what I'm doing here is I'm bringing in this much money. So $36,000, about 63% of what I'm bringing in, you can't touch, because we're putting that back into buying more property. We're putting that back into investing. What? Over $36,000 a month he's bringing in and putting it right back into making more money. So let me stop you right here. Anybody who's ever told you, if you are borrowing money for real estate and somebody says, don't pay the loans off early, they don't understand how amortization schedules work. Because at the P.I.L.L. method, we're not trying to pay the loans off early. We're not trying to pay the loans off fast. We're trying to pay the loans off cheaper. Keep that in mind. Whenever you borrow money, pay the least amount of interest that you possibly can and still make money with your money. All right. So I need you to hold my feet to the fire on that. All right. If you have any questions, raise your hand, come up to the stage and ask a question at any time, or put a question in the chat. Okay. So I'm going to be looking from time to time for more questions. So now, here's what he told me. This money you can't touch, but about 11% of what we're bringing in, I'm putting in the bank so that we can do a reserve account, so we can make sure that we have money for repairs and maintenance things to do. But, when a tenant moves out, we need to fix up the office space. We may need to build out the office space in a way that the tenant can utilize our space better. All right. So they need to have that cash available to build out the space for their tenants and to get it ready to re-rent. And if there's any problems in the building, they need to be able to fix it right away. So they're putting away about a little over $6,000 a month into that reserve account. Keep this in mind. In that reserve account, they have about $100,000. Now, I don't know about you, but savings accounts are only making like 0.1% now. They're not making much money at all. Okay. They're not making much money at all, but the money is there for a purpose. 36 grand they're putting into reinvesting. So they're making money hand over fist, but they have this money sitting on the sideline just to make sure that we can take care of any problems that pop up. All right. So they have $100,000 over there after putting that kind of money away every single month. So I pointed out to him, if you have that kind of money in, let's see how an amortization schedule actually works. Okay. So on this loan, here's what the bank wants in interest. Total interest is $1,122,000, which means that if you have to pay $1,122,000 on a loan that's 1.488 million, then your total interest paid as a percentage of principal is not 5%, it's 75%. Okay, that was the first revelation. His 5% loan was actually a 75% loan. Now, when you start thinking about that, here is the mistake that investors have made because somebody told them, if you're borrowing money at 5% and you can make money at 15%, why should you ever care about this loan? Because it's not 5%, it's 75%. That makes all the difference. So what can we do here? So here is how this loan breaks down. The payment is a little over $8,000 a month. $8,000 a month. Okay. So it's $8,700 a month. How it breaks down is after the first payment, only $2,500 goes towards principal. Look how much goes to interest. $6,203.78. He never paid attention to this because they're cash flowing a lot of money per month, over $40,000 a month. He didn't care. I'm paying $6,000 a month interest on that. Now, he also didn't care because the general line that they're taught is the tenants are paying that. The tenants are paying the mortgage. And I'm trying to tell you today, the tenants are not paying the mortgage because the tenants didn't take out a mortgage. They have a lease agreement with you, and they're paying their lease agreement. You have a mortgage, and you are paying the mortgage if you are the landlord. The tenants are giving you money, and out of the money they're giving you, all right, they're discounting that money that they're giving you so that you can get equity in your building. So the real estate investors are teaching, let the tenants create equity for you. And that's what's happening. But the equity is being created at only $2,500 a month. You see that, sweet? $2,500 a month. Okay. They're creating equity out of $8,000 being given to them. What does that really mean? Let me put a calculator on the screen, and we're going to show you what that means. If the interest is being taken out of the payment of $6,203.78. Okay. And then what we'll do is that we'll divide it by the full payment. The full payment on this is 8704. Okay, 8704. That is the mortgage payment. That means 71% of the money that the tenants are giving you, the bank is discounting that money. So you've got a loan to pay back. But out of the money that the tenant gives you, 71% of the money that the tenant is giving you is going up in smoke. So by the end of the first year, the tenant has given you, I need you to take a look at cumulative principal and cumulative interest, real estate investors. $30,000 goes towards creating equity for you. So at the end of 1 year, you have $30,699 in equity. But $73,748 went to the lender. They were able to discount your payments by $73,000. So, are you with me, sweet?
Yeah, sorry about that. Just multitasking, but yeah.
Okay. So here's what I need to know. If somebody is giving you over $100,000, okay, this is over $100,000. Do you want to give away $73,000 of it?
I'm sorry. One more time.
Okay. If somebody's giving you $100,000, do you want to give away 73,000 of that money?
Absolutely not.
Okay. But he didn't care because he's cash flowing over $40,000 a month. But out of the money that the tenants are giving us, so he's looking at what they've been taught. I have an additional $30,000 in equity in my buildings, but he wasn't looking at the fact that it cost him $73,000 of the money that the tenants gave him, discounted from the banks, so that he's only left with $30,699. When he read my book, that's when he started to realize what's actually going on. Now, I mentioned earlier that I'm giving away my book and I'm giving away a consultation. My consultation is $150, and my book is $50. Okay. But the early bird ticket, I will put that on this, for the Pillars of Prosperity Conference coming up in January, is $175. If you get a ticket today of $175, then you'll get a consultation, a 1 hour consultation that's worth $150, and my book, which is worth $50. That is a $200 value for purchasing a $175 ticket so that you can learn way more than we're teaching here. Okay. So how do we get that? So you want to go to this, this website. Okay. It's POPC, Pillars of Prosperity Conference, POPClive.com. POPClive.com. We're going to put that in the chat. Okay, let's see. We're going to copy that and put that in the chat today. All right. So let me make sure that we get that in the chat. Let me pull that up. There it is. All right. That's it. You click on that link. You click on that link, get your ticket, and then call this number. It says, okay, I got my ticket. You want to call this number, and the number is 256 886 1867. Uh-oh, I put the wrong number now. 1867. There it is. Call this number, and we'll give you instructions on how to email us your receipt. Okay. If you get a ticket, we're going to give you instructions. You call this number, and then we're going to give you instructions on how to email us your receipt. And you can make an appointment for a 1-hour consultation with me, and we'll send you a book for $50. All right. So a $200 value for getting the early bird ticket. So Don, what if it turns out I can't make the conference? Well, you got a $200 value for buying a ticket, whether you come to the conference or not. All right. And listen, we're going to be recording this. We're going to be recording the conference. And even if you can't make it, we're going to make sure you get the recording. Oh my gosh, you don't even have to go to Orlando. I'm going to make sure you get the recording. You get the early bird ticket. You get a consultation and my book because you got the ticket. All right. So let's go ahead and put this on the screen so that you can see what we're talking about here. Okay. All right. So we're going to take that out and put this on the screen. There it is. All right. So when you go to that Pop Live, that's what you'll get. You can get tickets here, and we're going to be talking about how to become an affiliate too. So click on the affiliate link, and then you can get paid 10%. When you help promote our conference, you can get paid 10% of whatever ticket they purchase. Okay. So click on tickets, click on the affiliate link, become one of our affiliates to help us to get this information out for our Pillars of Prosperity Conference coming up in January, the last Friday in January in Orlando. All the information is there on the website. All right, there it is. So let's get back to this amortization schedule. Okay, so here's what I told this guy. You have $100,000 in the bank. Can I show you a little something? He said, yeah, show me. So if you make this very first payment, let's say they make this payment in January, $2,500 goes to principal, and $6,203 of your money that the tenants gave you is discounted and doesn't count towards paying back your loan. They call it interest or rent on your money. Let's say you can make that payment in January. I showed him this and then asked him this question. What is your February principal payment? It's $2,510.64. I said, now you have money in the bank making 0.1%, just sitting there waiting for something to go wrong or waiting for a tenant to move out so that you can fix up their space to get it ready for the next tenant, correct? They said yes. He said yes. So could you, out of your $100,000, could you take out $2,510? Could you take $2,510.64 out of the bank, out of that money that's just sitting there, and apply that to principal in January? He said, well, yeah, I could. If you did you realize they have to subtract that money right away? No interest comes out of that money, and you're paid down to line 2 on your amortization schedule. And your next mortgage payment is actually on line 3. You just eliminated line 2 from your amortization schedule, not for $8,700, but for only $2,500, line 2 is gone. And the $6,000 that the bank was supposed to receive from you so that you can get the $2,500 in equity, you never have to pay. I need everybody to listen to me carefully. If you pay according to how the bank wants you to pay, to get $2,500 in equity, you have to give the bank $6,000 of your money that the tenant gave you so that you can get the $2,500 in equity. Or if you give them the money when they're not expecting it, you get the $2,500 in equity for free. Does that make sense to you? If you're understanding what I'm talking about today, okay, put a number 7 in the chat. Okay? If you're understanding this, if you like what you see, if you like what you're hearing, he can pay $2,500 and get that equity because he's giving it to the bank when the bank is not expecting it. And it will save him $6,193.36. He never has to get discounted from his payments. His total overall interest cost has been reduced by over $6,000 by giving them the money when the bank is not expecting it. Does that make sense to you? Tyson Hodge says quadruple 7. Okay. Does that make sense to you, everybody? So he's taking money that's making 0.1%, and he's putting it towards principal and getting a return of not paying $6,000. That's the same as making $6,000 with that money. That is huge. And the money was just sitting there. Now, does he care about taking money from, all right? So listen, what is this? It says, learned this from a brother on here a few months ago. How about that? Okay. That's what we're talking about. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a real estate investor, you're leaving millions of dollars on the table listening to so-called experts. I don't care where they are. They can even be on bigger pockets. But the reason why you're getting this kind of information is because the banks have been so skillful in hiding from us how amortization schedules actually work. Even though you're cash flowing and making money hand over fist, you need to start paying attention to interest cost, not interest rate, but interest cost. So when he got that, I said, let me help you to understand this part then. Let's take a look at cumulative principal and cumulative interest. We're going to add up all the principal payments for 1 year. That's all these $2,500 and $2,600 payments over here in column 1. We're going to add all that up. That comes to $30,699.86. Okay? That's what it comes to. When you add up all the interest payments for a year, it comes to $73,748.14. Folks, that's over $104,000 that tenants gave to this investor. 104,000, but 73,000 of that money was discounted by the banks so that 30,000 can go towards paying back the loan. Now, I want to ask you, under any circumstances, is that okay? That somebody gives you $100,000 in a year, but you only get benefit out of $30,000 of it. 70% of the money that was given to you goes up in smoke so that you can only keep 30,000 of it. I want to ask you, does that make sense to you today? Yes or no? Does that make sense to you? Yes or no? Put it in the comment section right now. Does it make sense to you to give that kind of money so that you can benefit only $30,000? Go ahead, put it in the comment section. Yes or no? Okay. My. So here's what I said to them. This is what I said to this guy. Okay. I see you. I see you. All right. So if you're eventually going to give the bank $30,000 anyway, okay, Tyson Hodge says no. I mean in capital letters. Okay. How about you? How about you guys that are watching me online right now? Can you say no as well? Do you want to? I see people in here. Put a no in the chat if you understand what we're talking about. Do you want to give this kind of money to the banks? So I asked him this question. Do you have to pay the $30,699.86? Do you have to pay that in 12 monthly installments? I mean, just like the bank wants you to. $2,500, $2,500, $2,500. Okay, LinkedIn, I see you. Okay, I keep getting LinkedIn notifications. Okay, all right, $2,500, $2,500, $2,500. Okay, listen, we're giving that kind of money. We're paying down this loan every month like this, and because we're paying on time the way we've been taught to pay. And at the end of 1 year, it's $30,699.86. So do you have to give them this money in 12 monthly installments? He said, no, I don't have to give it to him in 12 installments. I said, if you have it, can you give it to him? Can you give it to the bank at one time? Can you make your regular payment and then give the bank $30,000 out of your savings account, your reserve account? You have $100,000 in that account. If you wanted to, you may not want to, but if you wanted to, could you take $30,000 out of that account that's making 0.1%? You're still investing the lion's share of your rent every single month and paying bills with it, over $36,000 a month. Nobody's touching that. But the money that you're putting away each month, there's over $100,000 in that account. Could you take $30,699.86 out of that and apply it to the mortgage? It says, well, yeah, I could. Well, let's take a look and see what happens when you do. I'm putting a calculator on the screen right now. Okay. Remember, the original amount of the loan is $1,488,906.65. Okay. There you go. That's what we have. And if he pays this all up front, $30,699.86 in the first month of his loan. So will the bank subtract that money from what you owe? Well, it said, of course. So we're going to subtract that $30,699.86 equals $1,458,206.79. You see that? Let me ask you something. If we give this to the bank in month 1, aren't we paid down to here in the very first month? We're paid down to line 12 on the amortization schedule in 1 month. Let's say we start in January. So your February payment, wouldn't that be on line 13 of the amortization schedule? You drop down to line 13 in just 1 month, but we gave the bank this money all up front. So if that's the case, what happens to all the interest payments between line 2 and line 12? What happens to those? And I've got a very serious question coming up for all of you. Very serious. If you're a real estate investor, I've got a very serious question for you. Okay. Okay. somebody said wiped out. Yes, it is wiped out. That interest is wiped out. So here's what it costs to pay $30,699 towards principal the bank's way. It costs 73,000 of the dollars that your tenants gave you. If you give the bank this money all at once, you're paying down the line 12, and the interest cost to pay it down to where you owe $1,458,000 is only $6,203.78. The interest on line one. That's it. Listen, maybe you're not hearing me. Okay. I should be hearing you screaming. I'm here in Huntsville, Alabama. I should be hearing you screaming from wherever you are. Okay. I should be hearing that, because by giving them this money early when they're not expecting it, the interest that's discounted is only $6,200 to pay the loan down to right here. Doing it the bank's way, they get to discount you $73,000. Folks, let me put my face right in the camera right now. That is a $67,661.37 interest savings right there. You just saved $67,000 to pay the loan down to right here by doing it your way instead of doing it the bank's way. Yeah, whoop, there it is. Okay, Don Bates. Okay, I see you. I see you, Don Bates. I see you. I see it. I see it. It's exciting to know this. It's exciting to know this. So here's my question to you. If you are a real estate investor, can anybody tell me, make me understand why it is okay for my tenant to give me over $104,000, and I got to give away 73,000 of it just so that 30,000 can be applied to principal? Can anybody tell me why this is okay? Why we should do this? Can anybody justify this to me? If I can give the bank $30,000 and be paid here in 1 month, can anybody justify why I should pay it over 12 months and give away 73 grand of what my tenants gave me? Can anybody justify that for me today? Think about it. I don't care who you're listening to. I don't care who your mentor is. They can't justify this only because how an amortization schedule works is not taught in our real estate classes, is not taught in our business classes, is not taught in high school, is not taught in college, is not taught at the upper levels, at the master's degree, or even at the PhD levels. It's not taught anywhere how an amortization schedule actually works. So I'm fooled into thinking, why should I do this to a 5% loan when I'm making 25% cash on cash return? That's what I'm fooled into thinking. Listen, I need to get more people on the stage. Okay, listen, if you come to the stage, even if you don't say anything, it invites more people in because the algorithm on Clubhouse lets people know that you're on the stage, and then they'll come in. So raise your hand, come to the stage. I see you, Jonathan Bing. Jonathan, how are you doing? Listen, I know you're busy. All right. So who else? Okay. Invite as a speaker. Catherine. Come on up, Catherine. Come on up, Miss Catherine. Anybody else? Miss Catherine, how are you doing this morning? Can you talk to us?
Yes, thank you. I'm excited to hear. I just heard the last little bit, and I know people have written books. It's well received, and they're going out there in the world. Having been kind of old school over 40 years doing real estate and then picking up the pace. So they have a successful real estate company. So maybe, or software program, maybe you can speak with them and, they let the word out, like what you're saying. I'll have to see if they cover that in their books and programs. And I could put it in the chat if you want, but I don't know if you can share resources or not here. So,
well, sure. Listen, I have a book. It's called P.I.L.L. Method. It's on Amazon, and I'm actually giving that book away for free because we have a conference coming up in Orlando. The early bird ticket's $175. Okay, early bird ticket's $175. I'm putting that on the screen right now. If you get a ticket for $175, you get a 1-hour consultation with me that's worth $150, and my $50 book. That's a $200 benefit for buying an early bird ticket for $175. Go to Popclive, POPCLIVE.com. POPCLIVE.com. Get a ticket and then call the number that I gave earlier at 256-886-1867. Tell us that you got your ticket, or you can go to my 10K card, which is ice10k.com. Our number is there too, ice10k.com. Contact us. Let us know you got your ticket, and you can sign up to get a consultation and my book. How about that? So, Catherine, do you understand the importance of getting this knowledge and understanding how to borrow money at a discount? Okay. And thank you for putting that in there, Catherine. I appreciate you. Okay. Thank you for putting that in there. All right. So listen, I need you to get this part. So here's the next piece to this. He says, well, Don, I see the benefit of borrowing money from my bank account that I put in reserve. But I can't keep borrowing from my reserve. I won't have any reserves. I said, you don't have to. Because what you want is a sustainable situation. A sustainable situation, meaning how much, let's bring this back up on the screen. I'm going to put this back up on the screen. How much are you putting away each month? So if he takes $36,000 out of the bank and puts it in the bank and puts it into into the mortgage to save almost $70,000 in interest, how much is he putting in the bank account each month? He's putting $6,500 in. Let's just round it off to $6,000. Okay. So if he takes, let's take a look at this. Okay. Let's go back. Let's bring this back. All right. And if he takes $30,000 out, okay, and he's putting about $6,000 in each month, how long will it take him to replenish his supply? $30,000 comes out, applies it to the loan, saves over $67,000 in interest with that money, and now he's going to put it back at $6,000 a month. How long will it take him to put that money back? $30,000 at $6,000 a month. Can somebody do that quick math? I'm looking online. How long does it take to pay back $30,000 at $6,000 a month? Does anybody know? Come on, put it in there. Or come to the stage and tell me. All right.
are we talking 5 months?
We're talking about 5 months, aren't we? So here's what it takes. Lakendra says 5 months as well. Thank you very much for that. Why don't you come up to the stage, Lakendra? Come on up. You don't have to say anything. We'll invite you up. I see you're new to the mortgage syndicate. That's all right. Come on up. Raise your hand. We'll bring you up. All right. So 5 months. I need you to see what this looks like. If you're not watching this, if you're not seeing the numbers, then you need to go to the YouTube link I have at the top of the page. That will get you so that you can see the numbers. So let's go over it step by step. I need to show you what's going on here. We're taking this money out of a bank account where I have 100,000, where they have $100,000 in it, taking that out, applying it to principal and getting in the first month of this loan and paying down to line 12 in just 1 month. That means the next month's mortgage payment is actually on line 13. The interest savings on this is $67,661.37. That's how much interest was saved by that one move. But now we want to pay the money back. So for the next 5 months, okay, for the next 5 months, we're just going to make minimum payments on the loan. Okay, so we're on line 13. So line 13, we make our payment. We make our payment here. We make our payment here. Line 13, 14, 15, line 16, line 17. Okay, now remember, this guy has 2 buildings. I'm just showing you one. I'm just showing you one. All right. And just to remind you, this is what we're looking at. He has a $2 million in loans. He's got over $57,000 coming in a month. Payments add up to $14,000 a month. He's reinvesting $36,000 a month and putting away about $6,000 a month into a reserve account. That's what's going on. So out of that money, $6,000 is going into the reserve account. So for the next 5 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. We just paid the loan down to here. $1,444,956.12. The money is back. So I asked the real estate investor, after 5 months, could you take out $30,000 again, apply it to this loan, and knock off another 12 months and save another $60,000? So how much time does he have in so far? 1 month plus 5 months. He's got 6 months in already. And having 6 months into this loan, he could be paid down to line 17 on his amortization schedule. And now we're going to put another $30,000 on that. Okay, so we're at $1,444,956.12. Okay, we're going to put another 30,000 on it. Go subtract 30,000. That will take us down to approximately where we owe 114,956. Let's see if we can find that. Okay, 114,956. No, I'm sorry. 1,149,000. I'm sorry. 1,149,000. Okay. All right. That's about here. Okay. Right about there. Look at that. In 7 months, he could be down to line 108 on the amortization schedule. And let me tell you that how we're doing this is we can kill a loan like this. I did something wrong. Hold it. Let me go back. I did something wrong. We're not down that far. Okay. So we were here. We're at 12. We're on line 17. All right. I did something wrong. Let's do it over. I can admit when I made a mistake. All right. And that's 1,444,000, 1,444,956. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. 0.12 minus 30,000. Okay, equals 1,414,009. Okay, 1,414,009. That takes us to about here. 1,000,004. That takes us down to line 28. Okay, so we're down to line 28 here, right around here, line 28. In, let's see, the first month, that's 1, and then another 5 months. Okay, that's 6. This is 7 months. 7 months, we're down to line 28 on the amortization schedule. If we had done this the bank's way, we would have paid this loan down by the $74,000, but it would have cost us $169,000 in interest. We're here, okay? We're here for about $40,000 in interest instead of $169,000 in interest. And folks, we're just leveraging money that we have on the sideline that is allowing us to do this. Does this make sense to everybody? Can you see a system whereby you can be taught how to borrow a certain amount of money from yourself, apply it to a loan, figure out how much interest you can save, and cut your interest costs by 75 or 80%. Can you see how that could help a person do this? Now let's bring this back. I need to go. Now we're going to get into this in detail. Here's what he could do. Watch this. Watch this, everybody. By reducing his interest cost by 79%, saving $891,726. It's only going to pay $231,000 in interest instead of $1,123,000 in interest. And remember when I told you, I don't care what the interest rate is. What matters is what is the interest cost you end up paying. If he only pays $231,000, do you know what the interest rate would have to be to do that? Let me blow that up for you. You would need an interest rate of 0.67 to pay this little amount of interest. You would have to have an interest rate from the bank at 0.67 to do what the P.I.L.L. method can do for you. So I don't care what interest rate we're getting from the bank. I only care about controlling the interest cost, because now you are in control using technology and superior financial education. How about that? Any other questions about what we're talking about today? Put it in the chat. Okay. If you like what you hear, let's put some flame emojis in the chat right now. Let's put some flame emojis in if you like what you're hearing. Okay. It's time to ask some questions. It's time for questions. Okay. Because I'm getting ready to take a break. And when we take that break, we'll be back with more information, but I'm willing to answer a few questions before we go. Go ahead, Catherine.
Hi, I recall the other day somebody said you need to have at least $5,000 saved above your basic expenses to begin the idea of being an investor, or whatever this is. I'm new to the terms, but on the one hand, I forget who said it, but that we don't need to have a license, not too expensive to become, able to do this kind of write mortgages or write for commercial purposes, not personal residential homes. So that I caught on to. And then he said, now, how much money do you need just to kind of get going with whatever? I don't know, with training or make a few moves or something.
Mhm.
So is $5,000 kind of a sweet number to look toward? This is after you're paying your own bills, you have a place to live, or maybe be happy living out of your car, depending.
No, I want to make sure I understand your question. So are you saying $5,000 in reserve?
Yeah, well, I think 5,000 to invest in becoming a mortgage broker or whatever this is called.
Oh, okay. So no, I'm not teaching how to become a mortgage broker. I'm just talking about how to
But
borrow money at a discount. Okay. But
yeah,
if you want to listen, there are classes that you can take. All right. And I would imagine there are some people out there that are charging $100,000 for this information. How to become a business purpose lender. And do you know why they're charging $100,000? Catherine?
I don't offhand. And yeah, maybe it's becoming a lender. That's maybe I used the wrong word about mortgage broker for commercial, but
Mhm.
yeah. So yeah, how much would it cost to start learning? More of what you're saying. They're not teaching in a lot of these programs.
Of course.
So much is upside down.
Well, listen, there are people out there that are teaching this for as little as $10,000. You don't need to have $100,000. There are companies out there that charge that kind of money. Not only are they charging that kind of money, but they're taking a piece of your transaction. Every time you close a loan, they take a piece of it. That's how much money is being made in this commercial space. There's a lot of money to be made. Okay. So do you have a calculator handy, Catherine?
I'd have to see if my phone will let me get over there without losing you.
If you're near your computer, that would work.
Right. Well, just give me some numbers and we'll let the
Okay.
mathing take care of it.
All right. Well, if you help somebody get a $700,000 loan, okay, and I'll put it on the screen. You help somebody get a $700,000 loan, okay,
700,000?
700,000, and you charge them 3%, okay. All right, you get 3% of that.
21,000?
That's $21,000. Okay. What if
That sounds nice.
right? What if you help them to get let's see, one, two, three, a $2 million loan, and you're
That's
charging, you can listen, you can charge up to like 4%. You can charge up to like the 6 or 7% on some of these loans, but let's just call it 4%. I make times 4%.
80,000.
Wow. 80,000. That's the kind of money that can be made in commercial lending. And you don't
My hearing's improving as you're going through these numbers.
and you don't need a license.
I like that.
Okay. You see this guy next to me, Jonathan Bing?
Well, I've heard of Jonathan.
Okay. I need you to click on his profile. He actually teaches people how to do this.
Yes, I think I learned a couple things from him.
All right.
He said he might give me 15,000 a year because that's what I need to live. He's like, if that's all you need to live, that's chump change. That's parking ticket money. That's going out. So, but I have people who've helped me have a place to live. So, I've saved and I've given and I've worked for free for others. And, it's a little all over the map.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to bring it into alignment because of the elders who need help either staying in their home or not losing all their money needlessly, after protection. And I'd like to see an alliance between the commercial and the residential. Like, people do have to live somewhere still. But
Well,
go ahead.
let's talk about that. So, LaKendra, I just invited you up. I see you raised your hand. I've just invited you up. Come on up. Answer that. And I see you just put your hand back down. But raise your hand. I'll invite you up to the stage. All right. And there you go. Thank you very much for for being here. And Derek is in the audience. Let's invite him up as well. I just invited Derek up. And so we're going to be working together in Orlando. This is going to be an exciting time where we get all of this information and more in an all-day seminar that includes lunch. Oh my gosh, Derek, listen, guess what we're doing here, Derek? All right, where is Derek still here? Derek, you're probably busy. Oh, and I'm sorry for your loss. Your wife told me about it, about one of your clients, and want you to know that we acknowledge that and to tell you that we are sorry for your loss there, sir. Okay, so let's talk about this, Derek. So Derek and his wife Shay are working to help us to put on a conference in Orlando coming up at the end of January. All right, the end of January. The Pillars of Prosperity Conference coming up in January. And so Derek, for people who get their early bird ticket today, let me put that on the screen so everybody can see. So for you, if you get your early bird ticket today, there it is, $175. You get a consultation with me, 1 hour consultation, which is worth $150, and my book. My book, if you go on Amazon right now, okay, you go on Amazon, you will see that my book is a $50 book. You get the book and the consultation for getting your early bird ticket. Listen, yeah, join the live stream, Derek. I sent you join the live stream. Join the live stream. I can bring you in. That would be phenomenal. That will be phenomenal if you join the live stream. That'd be great. So we got Derek Forston coming in, folks. Founder of ILF, and he'll tell you all about that. And we got Jonathan Bing in here, who is an expert on teaching how to become a business purpose lender, Catherine. So you want to follow up with Jonathan and take his course, okay? If that's what you want to do. It's going to be, this is going to be phenomenal. I'm looking forward to all of this. Anybody else got any? Come up to the stage if you have any questions at all. James, I see you there. James, come on up and ask questions about how this real estate investor, that we have on the screen right now, was able to borrow a bunch of money and is able to pay it back in record time and save. Getting ready for work. All right, not a problem. All right, save so that he can save over $891,000 in interest he doesn't have to pay, and then take that money and turn it into over $9 million additional dollars in revenue, so that he can increase his net worth by over $9 million with money he was giving to the bank. There's absolutely no reason for us to give that kind of money away, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I'm waiting on Derek to get in here. This is going to be exciting to have him on our show this morning. Do I have any other? Listen, can I get any other people to come to the stage? Miss LaKendra, how are you doing this morning? Can you talk to us?
I'm doing well, but no, I can't talk.
Okay, I understand. Listen, but thank you for being on the stage, because by you being here, other people can come in. Catherine, did you have another question or comment?
Yeah, so regarding the assets of an elderly person, if they need to plan with an elder law attorney, and then maybe they could have their kids or something double check how to get into this kind of business or another business, because without the proper planning, even 5+ years in advance, they can't spend it on things other than their care. But on the other hand, if their adult children watch them, keep them out of a nursing home for 2 years, they can earn the house, and that's in Connecticut, but it's different in every state. So it's really important, to not overlook that.
Miss Catherine, I'm trying to follow where you're going.
Well, I know we're talking commercial, but like I say, people do need a place to live, and how to keep track of what you already have. So, not needlessly have to pay extra for home care, or
So-
not lose the equity in the home.
So are you saying that people, before they get to that situation, should be able to pay off their mortgages? Is that where you're going?
Not so much as if they do have equity in their home,
Yes.
rather than lose that, to have to put it towards their nursing home or home care, because home care is allowed in more states, with the state helping afford that bit. But they have to, their adult child would need to have like a legal caregiver agreement.
Okay, so that kind of information, folks. Thank you for that, Catherine. That kind of information you can get from your lawyer, that is an expert in how to set you up for life's experiences. All right, so that is available to people. So thank you for that. So I've got Derek, that we're going to add him to the stage right about now. So Derek, how are you doing, sir? You going to go ahead and unmute?
I'm doing pretty good, Mr. Dunn. How about yourself? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. Are you going to use your camera today?
I am. Dunn, I'm not super techy, man, so I got to get Shay in here, guys. I don't know what I'm doing. Give me just a second, though.
All
Let
right,
me
brother.
see.
All right. So let me take this off the screen so we can get both of us in here. All right, that'll be good. And there we
All
are.
right, I
There
think
you
I'm up
go.
now.
There you go,
Oh,
man.
good morning. What's going on, Mr. Dunn?
Come on, man. I appreciate you for being here this morning.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you having me, man. What's going on today?
Well, listen, I just want to share with you some things. I put this on the screen. Okay, that is our early bird ticket.
Absolutely, it is.
For we're going to be at the Hotel Landy in Orlando. You and your wife Shay are doing a lot of the back end work and helping us to promote this. And
Absolutely.
tell us, can you give us some information on what the people are going to experience here in Orlando, for just $175?
Wow, man. First of all, the price point is an absolute cheat code, right? And not sure if Don told you guys yet, but he's going to absolutely feed you guys too. So you know how sometimes you go to these events and people don't feed you, or they give you this box lunch? You guys get a plated 5-star lunch, guys. And that includes your entree, right? The pre-entree, which is that nice salad that you always get, and dessert. So there'll be a 3-course meal, first of all. So I want to make sure that the people understand that they will not be at this all-day event getting all this great information and be hungry or be sent somewhere else to eat. So let's get that out the way first. Then second of all, Don, for anybody that's been following you for any length of time, they already know kind of what you bring to the table. And Don, what I also like about the timing of this event and the way that you did it, a lot of people want to try to change their life or the trajectory of their family's life in the month of January. So no greater time than to be doing this, guys, January 31st. So if you hadn't got this early bird special, I highly recommend that, because what we're also bringing to the table, if you guys don't know me, my name is Derek Forston. I'm the owner and operator of Forston Consultants, and we teach people how to take a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home and turn it into a housing haven. So a lot of you guys have heard of group homes or ALFs. We teach a model that's called the independent living facility model, which doesn't require a license like the group home.
Hello, good
You
morning.
don't have to own it.
Hey, Derek.
Can you still hear me okay, Don?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I got James on the stage here in Clubhouse, and he's getting ready for work. Do you mind if we allow him to get his question in at this point?
Absolutely. Please do.
James, go ahead.
Hi, it's a quick question. It's not too far off point, but I'm getting ready to start an LLC, and I guess just I'm at the beginning phases of it. But is there any place where I could get, I guess, startup capital at least for like the just a small amount, just to cover the charges, like about $1,000, $2,000, 1,000 something?
Are you looking? Are you looking to? So you're looking to start a business,
Yes.
and it has no income just now.
Not yet, no.
Okay, that's going to be tough. I'm just telling
No,
you.
because that's my goal. Just save up for the LLC and just go at it from there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of tough to borrow money from somebody and you can't show how you're paying it back.
Right, right.
Okay.
Just wondering.
So now here's what you could do. You're talking about getting a business loan. You can use some of your personal credit and get there are loans that you could get. And if you got good credit, you can get a loan that you don't have to have any collateral for. You can it's on your signature. You can use credit cards. Those are ways that you can get this done to get yourself started.
Okay.
That's what I recommend. But trying to get a business loan on a brand new business, very tough if it's not showing income yet.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Derek, back to you, sir.
Absolutely. So I think I was talking about the part where we teach a model that's called independent living facilities. And
Yes.
again, very similar to a group home or the traditional ALF, but very different in terms of how it's structured and how you get started. So the model in which we teach does not require a license. You do not have to own the property. So we do a lot of that rental arbitrage that a lot of people talk about. So again, you can get into this done and not own the property and still take people from homeless to hopeful. So we tell folks that this is literally ministry, Don, right? So if you love God, love people, and love real estate, you need to be at this event January 31st, because Don is allowing us to also speak and bring what we do. So when you combine what Don is talking about with this model in which we do, which is how to make a lot of this money, right? Joining that with Don to know how to manage it, right, and know what you're doing, I think it'd be a great way to start the month of January. So real quick, and I'll just kind of sum it up and I'll take any questions that you guys have. But again, if you've ever thought to start your own housing program, or if you love God, love people, and love real estate, this is the way to mesh all of those together. The Bible says the poor and needy will always be among us. So we're actually doing God's will done through real estate. And that's exactly what we do. So it's not an ALF, it's not a group home, it's not an IDD. All of those things require state oversight, they require staff, and they require a license. The only requirement for the shared living environment, which is the independent model, which we teach, is a big heart for people and a love for God. And if you love real estate, that's the icing on the cake. So, and I'll land my plane there.
So Derek, do some of your folks that have worked with you in the past, do they actually own the property?
Hey, Don, Shay just came in the room and said that my mic was not even on this whole time. Were you guys able to hear any of that? I just turned my mic on.
I heard you. I heard.
Okay.
I
So
heard
if your
all of it.
audience didn't hear me, I apologize. But Shay just walked in and noticed that one of my buttons weren't on.
Okay.
So, and what was your question, Don?
Yeah, I heard listen, I would have stopped you a long time before this. My question is, in this ILF model, you talked about arbitrage, where you can actually rent the house and then help clients get a place to stay. But do some of the people who are in this model to provide housing, do they actually own the house?
No, some of them do, right?
Okay.
Some of them don't. And I'll admit, a large percentage of our people, they do not own the property. Most people that find us and discover what this is, they can't just go out and buy a property. Right. So that's why the renting or the leasing makes this so manageable. But we do have folks, right? A few of the newer people that we've just launched, they actually own the property, which makes it, very, how can I say it, more easily attainable, because if you already own it, there's no permission that you personally have to ask for. And a lot of those people were pushing to your event. in January, because we want them to know how to be able to pay that mortgage off while you're making all of this money and doing God's will, right? So that whole 7-year thing, they're loving that. So we're pushing a lot of our people to this event to make sure that they learn that as well.
Okay, so now you started out arbitrage. You started out renting the properties.
Absolutely.
So would you recommend starting out that way and then, leveling up to actually owning? Is that a possibility?
That's a possibility. So we tell people to start somewhere, because again, if you just can't go out and buy a house tomorrow, renting or leasing is going to be your best friend. I also started that way, right? I was a poor social worker making 28 grand a year. So I couldn't kind of figure out how to buy a house, but I surely scraped up enough money done to rent one. And when I found out that I could rent this place, to me, that was the cheat code, right? And again, Don, you know this story, but God allowed me to see a lady making $41,000 a month doing this model that I'm telling you. The only difference is, Don, is she did it in rats and roaches, where she mistreated people, meaning the housing had roaches and rats and people were living in squalor, and she still made 41 grand a month.
Wow.
So we want to get into it and change how all of that was done, change the way homeless people were being viewed, and change the way that they were living. And again, we trademarked independent living facility. So not only do we just use that phrase, Don, we went one step further and we actually trademarked it. So we own that.
You own that now.
Independent living facility, which is a shared living environment for adults to get them back on their feet.
So Derek, I've actually, I visited you and Shay. I've been to Orlando. I've been to one of the houses that you guys have, and it was beautiful. I mean, you worked on that thing. You got it up to snuff. And I met some of the residents there. I met one gentleman that was homeless, but had income. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about that story? This guy had money in some sort of retirement account he wasn't even accessing, and you helped him to do all of that. Can you tell us that story?
Man, this guy's story can go for 2 hours, but I'll try to take 2 minutes and tell it, because a lot of people also don't understand the kind of people that we house. We house independent adults. So this guy's independent, but Don, at one point in his life, he made 6 figures a year. So over $140,000 a year. But what could happen to all of us, Don? Life, L-I-F-E, life hit him.
Yes.
And his health hit him in a bad way, and his life just went down. And he found himself as a well-to-do guy, but then one day ended up being on the other side of the fence and being poor, homeless, and sleeping on the park benches of Disney World. Ooh. In and out of jail. And then finally, one police officer said, "Hey, man, do you really want some help? So instead of taking you to jail, let me take you to a hospital so that you can meet some social worker to try to help you." And to make a long story short, man, that social worker gave us a call here at Second Chance Housing. We housed that gentleman, got him on his feet, got him approved for SSDI, which means now he gets a monthly income. And now, Don, he's got his own apartment, doing very well, and now travels all over the place, really living the life that he's supposed to have been living the whole time. But just like could happen to anybody, he hit a stumbling block in the road, right? On the road of life, his health, finances, and then found himself having to live in a shared living environment. He used that temporary, Don, while he worked with the case manager, which we also put in place. And now he's got his own place. Because, Don, sometimes we house these people and they're going to always live in my setting. They're never going to do what we'll call graduate and get their own place. We got a lot of people like that. But we also want to serve as a stepping stone for people that say, "Well, Derek, I don't want to spend the rest of my days here. Can I just use your place to get on my feet until I get my own apartment?" Absolutely. And that's what he did. So he's one of our biggest success stories, and he's all over our Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube channel.
Listen, he's on my Instagram.
He's on your channel.
Yeah, he's on my channel too. Listen, Derek, when I heard that story live, I mean, right there in the house from that gentleman, there wasn't a dry eye in the place.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
It'll touch your heart, man, because I tell people that if that don't touch your heart or break your heart a little bit, to know that there are people that are living on the street and they actually have an income. If that don't break your heart, then that, like, this is just simply not for you. But again, we always tell folks, man, if you love God if you love people, and if you love real estate, this is the way to mesh all three of those together and literally be doing God's will. Because Derek didn't say it. Forster Consultants didn't come up with this. The Bible says the poor and needy will always be among us. And it also says that we're to take care of the poor, the needy, and the widow. And guys, we're doing that through real estate. So again, January 31st, Done is allowing us to bring the fire, to teach it, to share it, and then for you guys to combine that, because a lot of people done that will come, they own the real estate. They want to get into real estate. But how can they pay that off in 7 years with also making the kind of money that you can make with this model? Because Done, unlike a regular rental property where it's a mom, dad, and 3 kids, and that's collecting one set of income, we take that same 4-bed, 2-bath home and we house 8 people in it, right? And now there's 8 sets of incomes that come in every month.
Wow.
So again, it's not hard to see how the money multiplies, and again, how you're doing great work. You're doing you're also being an answer to affordable housing in your city, right? Man, we had a long YouTube session last night where we talked about how can you be the change in your city with this affordable housing. Yep.
Man, oh man. So here's what I'm hearing. You can start out renting the property.
Yep.
All right. And then set up one of these. Is there a chance that once you can start owning the property or buy the property, that you can reduce your expenses because your payment on your own property will probably be less than the rent?
Absolutely. So every property that we own is actually cheaper or more affordable than the rental rates.
Okay.
So we absolutely encourage people to buy if you have the opportunity.
All right. Let me see here. Let me, let's see. You guys, can you hear Derek on Clubhouse? Yes or no? Can you guys hear Derek on Clubhouse? Yes or no? All right, can you hear me? Are you guys hearing us? Somebody answer. Put it in the chat.
Someone says, I can't hear anything. Done Bates just a second ago.
Right.
He said no again.
Okay. I don't know why. I've got you. I've got you all up here. Okay.
Somebody else says, I can hear. So Edge Zone says, yes, I can hear.
Okay, great. Okay, great. All right. Don't scare me, all. Don't scare me. Okay. Can you hear me and Derek? All right. I want to make
us one more person. Maybe can Yolanda answer us as well? Yolanda and Derby, can you guys hear us okay? And Jeffrey?
Okay. Says okay.
Someone says just you.
Just me. Okay. I don't know why I can't hear you because I've got your mic on.
And my mic's wide open on my end as well.
Right.
Check one more thing on my side.
No, well, I got you.
Yep, my roadcaster is on and I got signal on mine, so I'm good on my end.
I can hear you. I don't know why they can't hear you. All right. Is anybody else experiencing? Can anybody else hear Derek? That's on Clubhouse.
And also, by all means, Don, if you want to push everybody to YouTube, maybe that may be better. So if you want to put up
they
YouTube
should be
link.
on. Yeah, they should be on YouTube anyway. Because they need to be able to see this. The link is up there on the top. Okay, so go over to YouTube so that you can make sure that you hear. So Derek, I need to ask you, once you get to the point where you have one of these and the income's coming in and it's working. Do you have people who have like more than one facility, more than one house?
Yes, most people that we teach have multiple properties.
Multiple properties.
Yes.
Okay. So once this starts happening, you can this is something that's scalable.
Absolutely. It's scalable. That's the whole point of it, is not to just get one of them. They're like Lay's potato chips. You can't just eat one. You got to get multiple.
Okay. So we're getting multiples. Okay. All right. So now I've got it scrolling across the bottom of the screen. If you want more information about the Pillars of Prosperity Conference, not just how to get a facility like this, but how you can own it and pay it off. Okay. You can you can text the word pill to 256-215-9496. Text the word pill to 256-215-9496. Okay. And Derek, we're doing something special today. All right. I don't know if you heard, but let me go to here and put this on. We're going to put this on the screen. Okay. And let me know what you think of this. I'm putting the early bird ticket on. Okay.
Absolutely. The
Okay.
early bird special.
The early
How long
bird
is
ticket.
that going on for, Don?
I got to talk to, well, that I got to talk to my expert on that.
I think they're saying Christmas Eve, but
Okay.
we'll double check just to make sure.
Christmas Eve. Okay. All right. And so we got $175 on that. Okay. But today I'm offering something very special. Okay.
Okay.
My initial consultation is $150. $150.
Okay.
And I'm going to put this on the screen as well. Okay. And let me see here. My book, we're going to put that on the screen. Okay. My book is $50, $49.98. If you buy a ticket today, you will get a consultation with me that's worth $150 and my book that's worth $50. A
Wow.
$200 value.
You just made that a no-brainer, Don.
A $200 value if you get the ticket.
That's a no-brainer.
Okay. And if you're watching the replay, you have 1 week to get this all in. Okay. If you're watching the replay, you got 1 week. Okay. So today is November 20th. So get the early bird ticket. All right. And if you go to text P.I.L.L. to 256-215-9496, you can get information there, or you can go straight to the website, which is POPC Live, popclive.com, and click on get your ticket here. All right. Get your early bird ticket. And not only that, folks, not only are we giving away the book, not only are we giving away a consultation with me that's worth $150, you can sign up to become an affiliate and get 10% of every ticket you sell. Just click on, listen, I just clicked on the affiliate link.
So they could be an affiliate of this event, huh, Don?
Listen, man, become an affiliate. If you believe in what we're doing, P.I.L.Lars of Prosperity, just fill this out, sign up right here, click the link, sign up right here, and it's free. Not only do you get a ticket, you get my book, you get a consultation, you can make 10% on every ticket that's sold. Okay.
That's a no-brainer to me, Don. Sounds like, again, I'm just going to repeat it. They can get a ticket, but also become an affiliate to make some money from it.
Yes, sir.
While they're promoting an event that can possibly change the trajectory of somebody's life and their family.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer to me. If I were you all, I would absolutely do that, especially for you all that have been following Don for quite some time anyway. You already know that the proof is in the pudding, but now the added thing is that we're coming. So if you got a friend or a family member that's ever wanted to start their own group home or ALF but didn't know how to get started, we're going to show them the independent living facility model. Right. And again, when you combine with what Don does with what we do, that's like fireworks, guys. It's like almost creating your own 4th of July. So again, I recommend, January 31st, you guys go ahead and get that early bird special. And don't forget, he's going to feed you too, right? 5-star food, 3-course meal, and an all-day event, again, guys, that can change your life. And what better time than to do this in the month of January, Don? Great time. Love that.
Can I just talk about the food for a minute?
Please do.
Because I was at the hotel during your conference, and this is why I'm having you all work with me to put mine on, because you did such a great job. Now, they had salmon that was cooked to perfection. Wait a second, and it was seasoned. And if you all know what I mean, because
absolutely,
because you can
we got to eat good.
Listen, you can go to a hotel and folks are talking about how good the food is, but it's not seasoned. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was seasoned to perfection. And what else were you serving that day? I can't remember.
They had a choice out of salmon, steak, and then we even had a choice for people that were vegan. So if you guys are vegan or you don't eat meat, no problem. Let us know, because when all of that stuff starts happening, when we start getting the orders in, no problem. But yeah, there was a choice out of salmon, steak. There was a vegan option, and there was, I think, one more, chicken. Yes, that crusted chicken or whatever that was also very good. So Don, same thing, right? They're going to have a choice at your event. They're going to have salmon, steak, or chicken.
Wow. All right. And if you're vegan,
get dessert.
if you're vegan, we're going to take care of you as well. Listen, folks, this is going to be a plated lunch. It is going to be served to you. This is going to be a top tier event.
Yeah.
How many top tier events can you go to? Okay. And get all of this for $175. If you all need to, if y'all can't hear me, please come over, click the link, come on over to YouTube so that you can hear Derek. For some reason, you're not hearing him on Clubhouse, and I can't fix this right now, but go ahead and come over to YouTube so that you can see everything and hear everything. So, Derek, what else are you guys working on right now?
Man, we have a lot of stuff going on. God has really blessed us to be involved in a lot. But the main things is, of course, the teaching and the doing of the housing, the homeless, and the displaced. But the one that's right behind that is kind of what's pushing your event, and that's Digital Flow Solutions.
Yes.
So not only do we throw events, but our whole marketing and advertisement team, and again, that's called Digital Flow Solutions. That's the helping people throw events, but most importantly, whatever business you have. So I jokingly tell people, whether you're a consultant, you own a daycare, or you fry chicken and sell it out of the back window of your house, everybody needs a website presence, right? Everybody needs a social media presence. So we're super big on that. So that's kind of the next biggest thing out of all of the things that we have going, is that digital marketing company.
Wow. Okay, folks. So that's what they're doing for me. Their event was sold out. It was packed out. So why am I going to try to reinvent the wheel?
Yeah.
We're at the same venue. Okay.
Exact same venue.
The exact same venue.
Yep.
They have a line, or they have a list already. They have people who are interested in what they're doing. When I was a speaker there, then talk about what was the feedback from when the P.I.L.L. method did a presentation on your event. What was the feedback?
Absolutely. So again, I'll just reiterate that, guys. If you don't know it, we have an event every year. That's our annual ILF conference. So obviously this year, it was actually the first year where we, brought in other people, because usually it's just me running my big mouth, me and my family. But this year we decided to not only tell you what you needed, we actually brought every piece of the puzzle. So we brought the case manager, we brought the social worker, we brought the money guy, which for us is done. So when we talk about money and savings and interest and how to beat the bank, I'm always going to be inviting and asking Don to come, because that's that piece that would normally I would tell you maybe some of the things Don is saying, but that's baloney. What's better than bringing Don? And oh my God, Don is the only speaker, and I won't just say this, but I'm being honest. All of the speakers were great, phenomenal. We sold that place out. But Don was the only speaker, ladies and gentlemen, that actually got a standing ovation. And that's never happened at a place where I've ever spoken at, including for me. Nobody's ever stood up and clapped. Don made what seems to be a little difficult to some people. That's why you got to come to these lives events. Don is great on YouTube. He's great on Facebook. But there is nothing like coming in person when he's got this whole presentation already lined up. Guys, the feedback was so great. That's why we're doing this event. Half of our audience want to see more of Don. Don's smart enough to just follow the recipe and plan his own event. So not only are we throwing it, we're coordinating it. We're going to make sure that you guys experience the same feeling, the greatness, the food. But again, Don, the feedback was great, man. They loved you. People thought when they heard a little bit of you leading up to the event that they wouldn't get it.
that they wouldn't understand it. A lot of people talked about how you, and I hate to use the phrase how you dumbed it down, because it's not dumbing it down. You just made it more understandable. And again, for most of y'all who understand and been around Don a long time, he's explained to you what kind of diagnosis that's been given to him, which also explains how and why he explains things the way he does. He makes it very easy to understand, guys. Some of us are afraid of finances. Some of us don't understand the terminology. But when you get it from Don at a live event, because to me, it's different. To me, Don brings out a different Don when he comes live. It's like almost like Superman and Clark Kent. Most of the time, y'all getting Clark Kent on this call. When you come to the event, here comes the cape. Because now there's no holds bar. He can go as deep as he wants, and there's no time constraints. Don's a very busy man. He got a million things to do today. So he's capped up how long he can talk to you today. Them live events, y'all, he zones out and he puts on those blinders that those horses wear so that day he's focused only on you and the goal that you came for. So again, Don, my people loved you. Again, you're the only person that has ever received a standing ovation. That means for even me, my brother, my mom, or anybody that's ever spoken at our event. And guys, literally without breaking it, he dropped the mic. And when he walked off stage, you should have saw him, y'all. And people were just clapping. It's like, oh my God, I gotta get in on that. You must have signed over 20, 30 books that day. Everybody wanted this book. Everybody wanted this program. So again, if you're somebody that has been following Don for a while and you're kind of like, I get it, but you need to come in person. That's what these live events do. And then after the event, what I really like, Don, and I'll land it here. Mm-hmm. A lot of people talked about how you came up to them after the event and you went deeper on maybe something they wanted more of, or maybe didn't quite understand. So not only did he speak and did a great job of breaking it down, he met with individuals afterwards, y'all, individually, and continued to pour into them. So again, from me and my family, man, thank you so much. You lit our event on fire, and you're a part of that event every year now. So as you guys know, we do that annually, and Don, you're on the list. You automatically are a part of our event every year in June. So make sure you block your calendar.
So Derek, you've heard me speak several times. Okay.
Oh yeah.
In a venue like this.
Yeah.
So at the live event, did you hear information you didn't? Did you hear new information?
Absolutely, I did. Yeah.
Okay, because what he's talking about, folks, is that I don't have time to get in. I can only give you some of the surface information on Clubhouse or on YouTube or on Facebook. But when we're live, we can give you more information. And the diagnosis that he's talked about is the fact that I have Asperger's or autism spectrum disorder. I found that out late in life. Autism spectrum disorder and ADD. So if you have children with that diagnosis, I want you to know that there is hope. I was telling a gentleman that came over to my house for dinner, okay? And when he found out that his neighbor has the same diagnosis as his child, and he interacted with me, he talked with me, he knows what I do for a living.
Yeah.
It gave him hope for his own child. And it brought tears to his eyes. I said,
listen, that inspiration.
Yes, there's something that your child is going to be great at. Something that God is going to give to them. God gave me this. Okay. There's absolutely no reason for me to know what I know because it's not taught anywhere else. It's not taught on YouTube. It's not taught in other books. In fact, my book, out of 33 million titles on Amazon, is the only book that talks about how to read and understand and how to defeat an amortization schedule.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something else, Derek? I might not have shared this with you, but I have a book, but I didn't read my first book all the way through until I was 46 years old. So I'm trying to let you all know that the information that you're going to be receiving doesn't come from me. It comes through me. It doesn't come from me. It comes through me because I there's no reason for me to know this. I can't figure this out on my own. I see it. It appears in my mind. So I explain it in a way that I can understand it because I didn't go to school for finance.
Right.
So I don't even know those terminologies. Okay. So I explain it so a guy like me can understand it. That's how you all can understand. Hey, Fernando. All right. So that's how I get it over to you.
Yeah.
I get over to you so that you can understand it in a way that nobody else has explained it to you. And the reason why we get a standing ovation every time we speak is because now people can see that there's light at the end of this tunnel.
Yeah.
The tunnel that says, I'm going to be in debt forever. The tunnel that says, I'm going, that 9 out of 10 people that I know are still in debt, no matter how old they are. See, we're embroiled in a system where we are doomed to fail. So we're going to be talking about some things, okay? Here's some of the things that we're going to be talking about. It's not about getting out of debt fast, okay? It's about getting out of debt cheap. And we're going to be able to explain that, how we do that. We're going to explain you don't need more money to get out of debt. You need to pay less interest. How do we do that? We're going to be talking about that. But we're also be talking about by refinancing. Ask this question because people are going to be refinancing because the interest rates are going to come down. If by refinancing you're saving money, if you believe you're saving money, then who has to be losing it? We're going to talk to you about how banks make money on refinancing seven different ways. They're not giving you anything. They're not doing anything for you. They're actually keeping you in debt longer and costing you more money. Okay. So, listen, never pay cash for a house or a car. Wherever have you heard that? Where cash is not king. Okay. You want to borrow money at a discount. Borrowing money is better and cheaper than paying cash. Listen, we're going to be going over so many things. One more, Derek. Here's another one. Never ever get a 15-year mortgage. Never. Always get a 30 or a 40. Can you imagine somebody saying, don't get a 15-year mortgage? There's one guy out there, Dave Ramsey, who's saying, if you can't afford a 15-year mortgage, you can't afford the house. Well, that is misleading, to be kind. It's actually a lie to tell the truth. Okay. So to get a 15-year mortgage, you don't need a permission to get a 15-year mortgage anyway. If you want to pay off in 15 years, even if you don't know anything about the P.I.L.L. method, get a 30-year mortgage and then make the 15-year payment. You know, we're going to teach you how to understand your money from the ground up at this conference. You want to be there. And today, you can get the early bird ticket and not only get the early bird ticket, but get a 1-hour consultation with me.
1 hour? I don't think
1
you said that
hour.
earlier, Don. So
1 hour.
That call is not 15 minutes?
No, not 15
20
minutes.
minutes?
Nope.
Wow. So they get 1 hour on the phone with you personally, not your assistant? Like how does that work?
That my assistant, that what you get, you get 1 hour with me to see how we can put together a P.I.L.L. method program for you. You get that hour with me and see if we can put together a program for you so that you can pay off all of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years and know the month, day, and year you could be debt free. You get 1 hour with me to see if we can actually help you to do that. Also, not only do you get 1 hour with me, but you get my book, which is worth $50. Okay. So that is a $200. Okay. There's my book. Okay. It's right now on Amazon. If you go to Amazon and get the book today, $49.98. Okay. So some people get the book, then get a consultation, and then purchase our program. They do those
Now,
three
now,
steps.
Don, I'm known as Derek for the people. So I usually ask the questions that people are thinking, but they just won't ask it. What may they find in this book, just to let the people know what's inside of this so-called pill method book?
The inside the pill method book is getting an understanding of how it's not. Here's what it's not. It's not a 1, 2, 3 ABC how to do the pill method, because the pill method actually takes technology. Our opportunity cost calculator does all of the math. I mean, millions of calculations a month to give you the information you need to save money.
So
Okay?
this is not you doing your own math on a piece of paper and you got your pen, and it's just not done doing the math.
No, it's not, because it's too many calculations to do. We're going to teach you why you need a opportunity cost calculator to figure all of this out, and superior financial education. We're going to be telling you what you don't have and what you need to get this done. So that's what you're going to get. Also, we're going to point you to watching our free videos on YouTube and Instagram. Okay.
You got
so
it.
the book lets you know that everything that you've ever learned about finances is wrong. You need new information. Forget the old, bring in the new. And then they, once they get the book, then they sign up for a consultation. They get a free savings report telling them the month, day, and year when they're going to be debt free and how much interest they could save. They get that, and then they purchase the program. So it's 3 or 4 steps, but we're going to give you the first 3 steps. We're going to give you the book, we're going to give you the consultation, and give you a savings and earnings report. We're going to give you all three for the cost of purchasing the early bird ticket. And then you could be there all day with us, and it includes lunch.
Wow.
So you literally get access to the program for free.
Hey, Don, talk about this for me real quick. Talk about the mindset, because you just said something about unlearning or forgetting everything that you knew. Talk about the mindset that people need to have when they come to this event, because a lot of people think they know kind of what to do. What kind of mindset should we have coming to this event January 31st?
All right. Well, first of all, when reading books about psychology and finance, okay? When you're reading books about psychology and finance, we find out that we are not born economists. We think we know. And because of the information that we've had, that we've heard over and over and over again, we think that what we see is all there is. I'm trying to tell you, there is so much that the banking system has withheld from the general public that it even influences what is taught even in their universities. So when you come to this, you have to deal with what's called cognitive dissonance. Meaning, I've been learning this my whole life. Don has given me credible evidence that seems like this is the way to go. Now you have to make a choice. Do I keep doing what I've always done? Or am I going to start doing the new thing that's actually going to help my family grow the generational wealth? Okay? Because what is happening is the bank, the way that the loans are set up, is siphoning off your wealth, because they're charging you 75 to 80% more money than you need to pay. In fact, let me put it this way. If you're supposed to pay $100,000 in interest, we're going to show you how to pay $20,000 instead to get the same thing.
Wow. Somebody's thinking, how is that possible?
Listen, it is possible because we week after week after week, we're on this channel 3 times a week, Derek, 3 times a week. And I go over the basics every single time, how this can be done, teaching people the basics of how an amortization schedule works so that they can actually see the math. Here's what the experts that are out there are not doing. The ones that are teaching how to use a HELOC to pay off a mortgage, how to use velocity banking to
I've
get
heard of
out
that
of
one. Yep.
to get out of debt. All right. So they're teaching these things. You know what they're not showing you, Derek?
What did
They're
not show
not
me?
showing you the numbers. Meaning, if you're using a system, how much money do I use in this system? How much money are we talking about? Let me show you something here, Derek, since you brought that up. Okay. Here is a person who's used velocity banking. Velocity banking is where they're taught to use like what debt weapons. You can borrow money like from a credit card, put it on the mortgage, and because the cost, not the interest rate, but the cost of borrowing money from the credit card is less than the cost of borrowing money from the mortgage when you take a look at the dollars and cents. But because the people who teach this online on YouTube, okay, they're not telling you how much to borrow and how much to put on the mortgage to figure out how much interest you saved so that you can make the right decision on how long it's going to take you to pay the money back to do it again. This is a person that started this process and it got away from them. They have 12 credit cards now, totaling $200,000 in debt, trying to use this system, trying to use velocity banking. So when they came to us, they had a mortgage of $634,000. They had 3 other loans at $197,000 and 12 credit cards, $201,000. They had over $1 million in debt, Derek. And the bank wanted from them $692,000 in interest on that debt. We showed them how they're going to only pay $179,954 in interest, which means they're going to save $512,000 and be out of debt in 9 years.
But Don, did they need more money to do that?
Derek, we're using the same budget.
See, that's where people I think are missing it at, Don, because when I hear that, it sounds like I need more money to be able to do that.
Nope, you just need to pay less interest because we show you how to give the money back to the bank in a certain way, which makes it impossible for them to charge you interest.
That's the cheat code right there.
That's it. You don't have to do it their way. How do I give the money back to the bank, which makes it impossible for them to charge me interest? We show you all the right amount of money to move, what month to pay it in, what day of the month to pay it on, and which loan to focus on so that you can save all of that interest you don't need to pay. And so, Derek, by them
your software system does all of that for you, the calculations.
Listen, you talk about GPS for your money.
I like that.
It tells you what to do, when to do it.
GPS for your money.
With how much and on what day. Using your current budget. And guess what? You don't have to sacrifice lifestyle. We're not using any of your lifestyle money. You can still go on vacation. You can still save money for retirement. And
Don,
get out of debt.
Hold it, because I'm getting excited. Looks like, Don, you've been on this live for over 2 hours, and I'm not sure what you said before I came on, but if you guys don't remember anything else, the last 3 minutes of him speaking, to me, is the gem to all of this. That slide you just showed to where that's 692, but you're only going to pay that 179, and you save 512. And you said there's no change in my lifestyle. I don't need extra money to do it. To me, that's the cheat code about everything you just said. To me, that's the pill method right there in 3 minutes.
Well,
like that's the example. Wow.
Not only that, Derek, but we're going to focus on everybody who works with us gets one of these.
Personalized to them looks like, because everybody's situation is not the same, right, Don?
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Okay.
They're going to get one of these. Okay. If you become one of our clients, this becomes, as soon as you become one of our clients, this becomes a legal document. We guarantee your results in writing.
Mm.
If we can't do it, if we don't do what we say, you don't pay.
Mm.
There is no other program. Dave Ramsey will not give you a lifetime guarantee. Susie Orman will not give you a lifetime guarantee.
Mm.
If you want to guarantee your result, because some of you have tried a lot of other stuff and it didn't work. You paid your money and it didn't work. If you follow our instructions and the program doesn't work and you're following our instructions, we give you your money back.
Wow. That's the second or third no-brainer I've heard so far. So it sounds like it's risk-free to the people you're serving, Don.
Totally risk-free. Okay. So they're going to do, and it's a lifetime program. You can do mortgage after mortgage after mortgage. Let's just say you're one of our clients, like the Rosenblums here in Huntsville, Alabama, and I'm going to play their testimonial here in a minute. Okay. You like the Rosenblums. They paid off one house right out of college. 6 years later, they paid off their mortgage, and then the next year paid off all the student loans were paid off, and they went to private school. Okay, paid off, and then put a renter in that house and bought another house.
Okay,
paid that one off, put a renter in that house, and bought another house. Now they're paying off the third house. They started this in 2008. Okay. And the program is a lifetime program. They paid us once and they get to use it over and over again. But here's what I want to tell you. Since it's a lifetime guarantee, each new mortgage they put in, we have to guarantee the results on the new mortgage as well. If the program ever fails to operate correctly and we can't fix it, even if they're on their fifth mortgage, they still get all of their money back.
Wow. So they could use it more than once, not just the first property.
Over and over and over again.
Now, Don, I have to ask, why do you do it that way? Why are you so gracious to do that? Like, what's in that for you? Because our people say, well, Don, how do you win that way? Looks like you just care about people, but I'd rather you answer it. Why do you do it that way?
Okay, here's what we do. A lot of businesses like that model where they get a subscription and then they upsell you. They keep selling you stuff. What we do is that we love the service model. If we treat our clients right and give them quality and we give them value, they will tell their friends. It is the referrals that keep us in business.
You got it. So
I would
much
rather
telling other people.
I would much rather do business that way than to keep trying to nickel and dime my current clients for a lifetime. And not only that, but our current clients can sign up to become an affiliate as well and make enough money to pay for their program that they invested in.
I love that. And Don, just for anybody that may not know this, right? I heard a little bird tell me one time that E.T., the hip hop preacher, he also took advantage of this program. And a lot of you guys know Eric Thomas to be this world-renowned speaker. Talk about that, Don. How did it benefit him?
Well, listen, let's do this. Let's take a quick break and let's let Eric Thomas tell you himself. Okay.
Oh, okay. Even better.
Here we go.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
So I
Sir.
heard a lot of things in that, and I want to jump in immediately, right? Like
Come on.
that was a short clip. He spoke for a long time because I was there. But
Yes.
in that short clip, he said so much, and I want you guys to hear this, especially if you're a guy. Did you hear him talk about how his wife is a security freak? And that's not to pick on her. That's all women. All women want to be secured financially. And he talked about how this program gave that security. How powerful is that, Don? That's probably the most powerfulest testimonial you'll ever get, because again, not only because of who it came from, and that's great, but if you listen to what it did to his marriage and the security within it, to me, that's big, Don. Great job on that. Love that.
You know, the thing is, Derek, that E.T., he commands large paychecks when he speaks. I mean, when corporations hire him, he's made up to $250,000 an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. So a person like that, why is it that they need a system like this to pay off their debt? Here's why. I had a guy recently that works for Chase Bank give me a call. Lives in Denver, getting ready to purchase a new house, $2.5 million. He says, Don, should I? And he sent me a picture of the house. All right, I saw it online. Okay, so I saw it online and took a look at that thing. And he says, should I pay cash for it? Because he could. Or should I borrow the money? I said, hands down, without a doubt, get a mortgage for that house. Because if you have $2.5 million, I guarantee you it's not sitting in the bank making 1/10 of 1%. You have it in an investment that's making 10, 12, even 15%. Okay. You've got an investment that's working for you. Why take that money out of your investment to pay for a house that I can show you how to borrow the money at 1% or less? Okay. I need to listen. Let me show you on this one, Derek, that I didn't get to show you before. Okay. So when we put this on the screen, all right. Let me see here. When we put this on the screen, I need to zoom in on this part. Instead of 692,000, it's going to pay 179,000. That's $500,000 in interest saved. We're going to zoom in on this. Uh-oh, clicking on the wrong one. Let's zoom in. All right, zoom in. Okay. There it is. You would need an interest rate of 1.10% to pay this kind of interest on this loan from the bank. We didn't refinance the loan. We just showed them how much interest he would actually pay.
Right.
And then said, what would the interest rate have to be to pay this small amount of interest? That's called the effective interest rate. We give all of our clients their effective interest rate. If we don't do this, you don't pay. And guess what, Derek? If you go to our Better Business Bureau, we have an A+ rating with Better Business Bureau over the last 19 years. Absolutely zero complaints.
Zero complaints.
Zero
How many
complaints.
years again, Don, in business doing this?
19.
19 years.
19 years.
Wow. Proven track record.
Proven track record. The program absolutely works if you work it.
Don, here's a question for you, right? And this is probably the first time anybody's ever asked you this.
Okay.
Why would somebody not get this? After hearing all of this of what you just said and how you explain and how it helps you so much, why would somebody say, well, you know what? I don't really need that. Why wouldn't somebody get this?
Well, number one is because they believe they can do it themselves. Okay.
Sounds like a mistake.
Yeah. They believe that because of what they've been taught over the years. It cannot be that different because somebody's going to say to them, all you need to do is, all you need to do is.
All you need to do is.
why do you go to Derek? Why do you go to Don? Why do you go to anybody who's an expert? Because all you need to do is And I guarantee you,
It is never that simple.
it is never that simple. If it was that simple, here's a proven fact. I need you all right now to count up how many people you know that have a mortgage. Out of all the people that you know that have a mortgage, how many of them have actually paid it off? It'll be less than 10% of the people you know. I don't care if you're 80 years old listening to me. 9 out of 10 people you have never paid off a mortgage. If it was that simple, why aren't more people doing it? Listen, Thanksgiving is coming up, Derek.
Yes, sir.
And you know that people get around that coming from all over the country for Thanksgiving. And they talk about all kinds of stuff. Wouldn't it be nice if part of what they're talking about is Aunt Mabel paid off her mortgage last month? Did you know that Uncle John paid off his mortgage too? Did you realize that Susie is out of debt as well? Did you know that a grandpa he got out of debt years ago? What if we had that kind of conversation when it comes to money? When it comes to money, we're around the Thanksgiving Day table. If it comes to money, it's talking about our woes about the money, how difficult times are, how debt is actually, and if they're not ashamed to talk about it, okay, they're not talking about all of their successes with paying off debt. They're not talking about it. Why? Because we are living with it the way that we've been taught to live with it.
Right.
And what if everybody there knew that we could be out of debt in 7 to 9 years using your current budget, still able to go on vacation, still able to fly across the country and be with family on Thanksgiving, and still save money for retirement because the sacrifice is not on your end. The sacrifice is on the 75% of the money the bank will not receive. That's what's going on. That's what we help you to do. And it's called, the term, Derek, is called cognitive dissonance, to answer your question. Cognitive dissonance. I'm going to pull that over on the screen right now. Take a look at this. You said, why don't more people do it? Because of this. Cognitive dissonance is a psychological state that occurs when a person holds conflicting beliefs. They believe it can't be done, and then we tell them that it can. Okay. Conflicting beliefs, ideas, or values, or when their actions go against their beliefs. So we're telling you it can be done. They have never seen it that it could be done. And so they have to make a choice, Derek. They have to make a choice. That choice is, are we going to keep doing what we've always done?
That's never worked.
That's never worked. Or are we going to do the uncomfortable thing and switch over to something that has a proven track record, that has an A+ rating with Better Business Bureau, and absolutely no complaints over 19 years?
And right now only costs them $175 for the early bird ticket. And it also gets your book and the 1-hour consultation. So for me, Don, again, like I've heard several different times today where you made this thing a no-brainer. And again, Don, for $175, and don't put it in the chat, y'all, and don't put yourself out. But how many of us have spent $175 on something that'll never change your life? That'll never add value to you. Looks like, Don, for $175, you get all of this stuff. You still get fed a 5-star 3-course meal in Orlando, Florida. So it's like a mini vacation for $175. Guys, this is an absolute no-brainer. The P.I.L.Lars of Prosperity Conference, January 31st. Don't find yourself not at this event. If you want to change your life and the trajectory of where you're trying to go, guys, it starts with the financial side of it. How to become financially free. January 31st, guys. Make sure that you go to popclive.com. That's P-O-P, Clive, C-L-I-V-E. That literally stands for P.I.L.Lars of Prosperity Conference Live. So P-O-P-C live.com. Early bird special, guys, $175. Can't beat it.
Listen, I just thought about this. Derek. What would happen? What would happen if somebody said, you know what? I was planning on getting the book. I was planning on getting set up for a consultation, but I can't make it to Orlando. Could I buy a ticket for $175 and still get the book, which is worth $50, and the consultations is worth $150, and not even show up at the conference? Yes, you can.
Wow.
Yes, you can. And this is going to be recorded, isn't it, Derek?
Make sure you speak to Shay about that, but probably will be.
It probably will be.
That'll be kind of up to you if you're selling a replay of it or you're doing it that way. But Don, I always said it. I've said it once and I'll say it again, bro. There is nothing like seeing you live. You have a different persona about you when you're live, Don. Like,
yes.
Again, to me, the only way I can explain it is the Superman to Clark Kent thing. Like, he's Clark Kent here and the information is great. But when you see Don live, guys, that's when Superman comes out. And again, it's a lot of the information that sometimes just can't be shared right here on this live YouTube thing. Being in person, being able to shake Don's hand, for him to sign that book. Don, I can't even talk about the people that actually brought the book and the people that you gifted the book after you spoke. When you signed it, that meant so much to those people. They really appreciated that, Don. So I'm hoping you also do a lot of that at this one, because people like it when they get that personalized book from the guy and the guy signs the book. So that was cool.
Listen, Derek, we're going to, because this giveaway is only good for 1 week. Okay. The giveaway is only good for 1 week.
Okay.
So what we're going to be doing is having opportunity for people who come live. Okay. They're at the Hotel Landy. Okay. What if they want to bring their family? Because we're going to be there on a Friday. It's all day on Friday. What if they want to bring their family? Because that hotel, the hotel we're going to be at, is a great facility. How far away from the entrance to Disney is it?
Very close to Disney, very close to Universal Studios. That's why we tell people that whenever we throw an event here, guys, turn it into a mini vacation. Come and relax, refresh, but more importantly, come and learn something that can change your life. Right here in Orlando, Don. So again, great job on you even picking the location for these people. Don, you didn't say, well, let's go to Oklahoma and have an event.
No.
Let's go to, and not to offend anybody who lives there, or let's go to, I don't know, Wichita, Kansas. Let's go to Orlando, Florida and get a 5-star experience for $175.
Yes.
Like, no brainer.
And be right there at Disney.
Right,
I'm telling you.
Disney and Universal Studios, literally across the street.
It's going to be an amazing time. Folks, listen, we've been here. So for a total now, let me see here. Let's see our time.
About 2.5 hours looks like.
2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. And we're getting ready to get out of here. Okay. And but I wanted to spend a little bit of time. Talking about credit cards. Okay. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time talking about credit cards, but I promised you a testimonial. This is 6 minutes of somebody who is literally doing what other people said cannot be done. He's a teacher. She's a teacher. He's a real estate agent making income that is not right out of college. Okay. Which is, if you're a real estate agent, sometimes you make money and sometimes you don't. So, but with their income, they were able to pay off their mortgage in 6.5 years and pay off their student loans the next year. And now they're on their third house. This is the Rosenblum family. And we're going to take a 6-minute break. We're going to come back right after this and talk about credit cards for the rest of the time. Here they go.
It seems foreign at first. Like, the interest is there and it exists, but you just don't completely grasp how many tens of thousands of dollars that you're paying in interest when you don't have to.
No way. That was my reaction. Like 30-year mortgage and 5 years, 6 years, no way.
So here we are, 6.5 years later, just finished a 30-year mortgage payoff, and some of those same friends are coming back to us that were skeptical at first, saying, now, what was this about again?
They're like, really? You're only 30 years old. You're supposed to be paying on that for a long, long time.
And going through business classes through college and understanding economics and managerial finance and how to operate small businesses, we understand we have debt, we have interest that goes along with that debt. But we just didn't understand how our amortization schedule was set up and how much interest we're actually spending. We didn't initially have the understanding because we haven't been taught this way before. Take a $5 cup of coffee. When you take that $5 and actually look at your debt and your amortization and how much you're spending in interest, really, $5 could eliminate about $35 worth of interest. So the $5 cup of coffee is not a $5 cup of coffee. It's a $35 cup of coffee.
It took me a few tries to actually get it. He explained it to me maybe 2 or 3 times, and I thought, okay, I don't know. I'll have to see this for myself.
Changing the word penalty to a cost benefit. The word penalty, it makes you feel like you've done something wrong. No one wants to pay a penalty or pay a fine for something. That's the question you have to ask yourself. How much is it actually costing me to pay down my debt? You're sitting there trying to look at it way too deeply, and you're looking for that catch. You say, okay, it sounds too good to be true. What am I missing? Finally clicked and the light bulb went off. We said, oh yeah, the catch is there is no catch. It really is that simple.
Every time you log in, you see that date of your complete debt payoff. That's my favorite part to see.
When you log into it and you're looking at that dashboard, you have different ways that will open up your eyes to motivating you even harder to pay off that debt. I know it's put us in a better position where we can provide a better future for our child and being able to enjoy some things in life and travel more.
I'm just super excited to be so young and to say we've paid off our mortgage and we can free up all this money to use for giving to others, there's all kinds of things that we can do. That's sort of been our financial goal at the beginning. We started in Honduras. The people there just took our hearts. We've been keeping in contact with them ever since then, which was maybe, 7 or 8 years ago. They contacted us through Facebook and they said, we don't know what we're gonna do, because the cancer treatments are just beyond reach for us. Because of the pill method, with somebody who's devastated over a $600 cancer treatment that they can't afford, which we can't imagine it's even that low, we sit here and we say, well, yeah, here's money to get the cancer treatments done. We're not only putting our child in a better financial future, but we're also teaching her how to manage the money. And it's not that we have a magical program. You still have to have discipline, and it's the life concepts that we all need to pay attention to. Say hi. You are so sweet.
In my career as a real estate agent, this technology has been phenomenal for the clients that I work with on a day-to-day basis. I've been around real estate literally my entire life with our family-owned real estate company, and some of our clients that we sat down with and were forced to sell because they got laid off from their jobs, they had hours cut back, they had to look for work in other parts of the country. And we looked at selling their property, and they said, we literally have nothing to show for our time here. We've been paying our monthly payments month after month like clockwork, and we're literally gonna have to pay someone to buy our home from us. And it was so frustrating to have this conversation and their reaction to where they were, that if they had been on a program like the P.I.L.L. method, in just as little as a couple of years, you can put yourself into having rapid equity growth, even in a declining market. A lot of friends and clients that I've talked to say, well, we can put extra money on the principal of our mortgage, paying off our smallest debts and working our way up to our largest debt and pay it off, just as quick ourselves. I use the analogy of, following a GPS. And it may pull up 3 or 4 different routes. They all get you to your destination, but the P.I.L.L. method is just way more effective. It eliminates literally tens of thousands of dollars in interest that we were going to have to pay doing it the other way. But the technology that backs up this program is just phenomenal. It's finally sinking in, I think, to some of our friends and families and clients that we work with because we're sort of walking testimonies that it works.
I think that it should be taught in schools, really, but the banks might not be too happy about that because they like those interest payments coming in.
What's interesting is that one of our most reputable lenders that we work with here in this area, her and her husband actually joined the P.I.L.L. method program just a few years ago. If more people caught on to this program and this technology, it would drastically boost the real estate growth here in our area. Her and her husband, they looked at the numbers and said, you know, a refinance is not going to benefit us from where we are. The P.I.L.L. method is the plan that we need to put into our lives.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, we're back. So, Derek, I want to put this on the screen right quick. Let's see here. Let me change this out so that we can see it a lot better. There we go. All right. This is the technology that we've been talking about that runs everything. All right. Millions of calculations per day just so that we can get the right amount of money put towards the debt. And where does that money come from? Out of money you're not using for anything else. We track your income and we track your expenses. Then the program will say, okay, what do we need as far as your expenses? Are you putting in money so that in your budget so that you and your family can have some fun along the way? Or are you going to be like what Mr. Ramsey says? You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You got to drive a 30-year-old car. You got to sell pizzas at night. You got to cut up your credit cards to get out of debt. No, you do not. All you need to do is take a look at how much money you're spending, how much money you're making, include in there putting away money for retirement, for savings, put in how much money you want to spend on your family, and then our program manages what's left. Out of the money that's left over each month, you save that up, and then the program will find not the most amount, but here's the thing, find the least amount of money to put on debt in any given month on the right day to maximize interest savings. You see, Derek, when we're talking about doing anything, we want to find out what is the least amount to pay at the grocery store so I can walk out with the most food.
Gotcha. Yep.
What is the least amount I can pay at the gas station to get the most gas?
Yeah.
What is the least amount I can pay for the house to get the most house? Then why is it any different from how to buy money? I want to pay the least amount of money to borrow more money so I can leverage that money to build wealth for my family. So we're changing the mindset on this thing to make it more in line with everything that you already know to be true. But the banks have been successful in telling us to do the opposite. And here's the one thing that we've been told the opposite of. Remember the people I told you that had all those credit cards?
Yeah.
If they put this in our system, we can tell them the month, day, and year they could be debt-free on those credit cards, usually within 5 to 7 years. All right. On how many, I don't care how many credit cards you have. But one of the mistakes, even if you don't have the P.I.L.L. method, because I'm going to take this off the screen. Okay. It's just going to be me and you, Derek. I'm going to take this off the screen. All right. Just going to be me and you. Okay. Even if you don't have the P.I.L.L. method, here's some of the big mistakes we make. We look at an interest rate like 12% and totally misunderstand it. 12%, I don't like that, or 15%, or 25%. 24%. Let's take 24%, which is huge on a credit card. I'm looking at a credit card that has a 24% interest rate. But what is the interest cost on that? I don't know. I don't know what my interest cost is. I know what my interest rate is. It's 24%. And I feel bad because I'm looking at interest rate and everybody tells me to feel bad about 24%. But 24% is an annual interest rate, which means 24% annually is only 2% monthly. 2%. Okay. So if I have a $10,000 balance on that, and I know my interest rate is 24%, I know that my interest cost that month, okay, is only $200. Okay. My interest cost is $200. So if I look at this thing, Derek, and I'm listening to Mr. Ramsey, okay, he'll say, you've got an interest rate of 24%. You need to pay that credit card off, right? So if I'm looking at this the right way, let's put this on the screen. Okay. 24, we're looking at that, and I've got a mortgage of $420,000 at 7%. I've got a credit card. Mr. Ramsey is saying, if you have $10,000, you need to pay that off. So, Derek, if I'm going to be charged $200 on my credit card at 24% on a $10,000 balance, if I pay it off before it's due, I don't have to pay the bank the $200, right?
Right.
Oh, but if I put on this mortgage at that 7 and a quarter, if I put that money on this mortgage, $10,000, look what it does. It knocks off 28 payments I never have to make. And it saves me $68,000. We don't know what we don't know because we don't understand how to look at credit cards and use them wisely. If I have more than one credit card and I'm trying to pay them off, here's what the experts are saying, Derek, and they're not giving us the whole story. If I have more than one credit card, they're saying you should never pay the minimum on credit cards. You've heard that.
Right.
Okay. And so what they tried to do is pay more than the minimum on several credit cards in the same month. What they should be saying is you should not pay more. You should pay more than the minimum on one of the cards. Gang up on one card and pay it off. And then gang up on another card. Our program is going to tell you which card, which month, which day of the month to save a boatload of interest so you can be out of debt in 5 to 7 years. But even if you don't have our credit card, here's some things you want to do. If you don't have our program, here's some things that you want to do to save some money. Okay. Number one, track how much you're spending and how much you're making. Track it. I don't care if you just get a notebook. How much did I make and how much do I have to spend just to live? Do the subtraction. That's the money that's left over, and put it in a savings account. When it gets to be a certain amount, you pick out which. Our program is going to do it for you. But if you want to do it on your own, you can pick out a certain amount, take some money out of the bank, and you don't have to do it every month. Just apply it extra to one of the credit cards. If I'm taking that money out of my savings account, Derek, instead of out of my monthly budget where I'm trying to, take care of my family, pay the bills, and have and create some memories with my family, we can do all of that and still put a little bit of money away in that savings account, you see? So if I take money out of the savings account to attack the debt, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice.
Right. Right.
You see? So, but our program will guide you into what to do. So gang up on one and start, instead of trying to put money on several cards and know what your interest cost is on your credit cards, not just looking at the interest rate, not just looking at the balance, but know what your interest cost is on each card so that you can spend your time attacking the one that's costing you the most. And do you realize that your interest rate, that is the least amount, can actually be costing you the most in interest cost depending on your balance? So be wise when it comes to your money. Understand it. This is what we talk about in our book. This is what we talk about in our coaching sessions with our clients. This is how we teach people how to use our opportunity cost calculator so that they can understand their money. And we're going to get into this thing a lot deeper, Derek, in Orlando, January 31st. That's a Friday. It's the last Friday in January. The same time people are talking about New Year's resolutions.
Yep.
At the same time they're talking about, I got to do better about my finances.
That's it.
You're going to find out more here in this seminar, this conference, than you've ever heard your entire life from anybody else that's teaching anything about finances. And you know the great thing about this, Derek? We're going to show the people the numbers where Dave Ramsey doesn't show you the numbers. Sue Foreman doesn't show you the numbers. People talking about the debt snowball and the avalanche methods don't show you the numbers. People who are talking about how to use use a HELOC to pay off your mortgage, they're not showing you the numbers. We will show you the numbers and how to choose the right numbers. Derek, thank you so much for being here with us today, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. It's my absolute pleasure. And I'll be here pretty much anytime you need me, man, because again, this is great information and we want people to know it. And again, guys, January 31st, don't miss it. Like you said, it's the last Friday of the year. So nothing gets in the way of this date, y'all. He makes sure that he didn't choose New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, any of that stuff. By the time the 31st comes in January, all your parties and all of that stuff is over. And now it's time to be laser focused on becoming financially free and also come and find out and learn how to house the homeless and the displaced and possibly start your own housing program, which can create a lot of income. But what do you do with it when you get it? Let Don and the P.I.L.L. method direct where those extra funds should be going so that you can debt free yourself, guys, in 7 years. Don, I love it. Thank you again for inviting me. Again, if you love God, love people, and love real estate, we'll see you January 31st in Orlando, Florida at the Hotel Landy. And one more time, Don, put that screen up again for the early bird ticket. As you heard him say, guys, the early bird ticket comes with a 1-hour consultation for free, and you get his book for free. If I were you, I would do that now and bring the book with me at the event, and hopefully you get done to sign it. But I like how the fact that he's giving this deal now, which gives you all time to get it and time to come to the actual event in January. And if I were you again, guys, I would bring that book with you as proof, right? As your receipt that you're also trying to invest into your family, your life, and your legacy. Again, January 31st, guys. And hey, Don, again, man, thank you so much for having us, and we super appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Derek, for everything. And I'm getting messages that people couldn't hear you. So, folks, go and go to YouTube, watch the replay, and you can get Derek's interactions. And next week, we're going to work out the bugs so that you can actually
they can hear me on Clubhouse too. But everybody, you should be on YouTube anyway. That's what most of the stuff is. So make sure that you guys are also clicking that link when he drives you to YouTube. That way you can see what he's talking about. That's what my audience appreciated from Don in June, that not only did he talk it, but he had a personalized PowerPoint that was built for that event. And that's what he's going to do for you all January 31st. Not only talk it, but he's going to show you the numbers, guys. And to me, that's the cheat code of watching all of this, is being able to see it, because Don's not going to hide the numbers. He actually wants you to see them.
Exactly. We're going to show you everything that you need to know so that you can understand why our opportunity cost calculator is what you need and why you need to look at debt a different way. You deserve to know this. And not only are you going to get all of this, but we're going to feed you as well. It's going to be a great day. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you there in Orlando. And don't forget, go to popclive.com to get your ticket. And if you want more information, you can text the word P.I.L.L. It's crawling across the screen here on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Text the word P.I.L.L. to 256-215-9496 for more conference information. Okay, so folks, that's it for today. We'll see you next week, right back here with more tidbits, more introduction to just a taste of what you're going to get in Orlando come January 31st in the new year. All right.
Now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ever ask or think, according to God's power that worketh in us. You guys be great.
We'll see you next time.